Now, the Weimar Republic was not perfect, and it had 4 main problems which it had to face. And each problem caused the public to lose faith in the government, and it allowed people like Hitler to get involved and to take power. So we are going to look at 4 different problems that were faced. Now, we are just going to talk about what the problems are, and then we are going to look at them in more detail next week. So for this, we're just actually trying to work out what the problems were. So problem number 1 was the stab in the back myth. Now, the German people didn't trust the government because they thought that the government had stabbed them in the back. Because Germany was never really defeated in the war in the way that Britain made it to Germany. At no point did German people see the Allies. So they thought, actually, we didn't lose. The government just gave up on us. And for that reason, they didn't really like the new government either. Reason number 2, the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was a document made by the leaders of France, Great Britain, and America. And they put in a lot of rules that Germany had to accept. The most powerful was that Germany had to accept the responsibility for the war. Now, the Treaty of Versailles was disliked by a lot of German people, and they didn't think they were responsible for the war, but they also didn't like the other rules it put over them. And we're going to look at these rules more next week. Problem number 3 is hyperinflation. So the value of German money went down, which meant that prices of food went up, which meant that the German government had to print more money, so people had to get more money, and eventually they were taking wheelbarrows worth of cash to the shop to buy a loaf of bread. And it just wasn't very practical, and some people were not able to buy food or ways to heat their homes. And problem number 4 is political violence. So because the government was already seen as weak, parties such as the Nazi Party with Hitler at the head was able to use their political police force to cause disruption, and they tried to march and take over the government. They weren't successful, and Hitler ended up in jail. However, it showed to the people of Germany that the government was weak, that other people could try and fight the government, and they weren't that strong.